Wes Ball's Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes has now arrived in theatres, and after checking out the film, I think it's a new triumph for the long-lasting franchise. While the reboot films starring Andy Serkis are a part of one of my favourite modern trilogies put to screen, Kingdom has done a fabulous job of starting a new trilogy, one that acts as both a successful sequel and a somewhat reboot to those previous movies. It's a slow build, but when everything clicks into gear, the story works, the characters are compelling, the action is just as good as what came before, and the visual effects set new heights. So in this video, I'm going to be listing the reasons why I think the film is a cinematic triumph, and minus a few issues, why it sets up an intriguing new saga in the Planet of the Apes series. This video essay will also contain brief spoilers, so if you do happen to be someone who hasn't seen the film yet, then I would recommend watching this video after you've seen it. Before I get into it though, if you want to keep up to date on any of my videos surrounding the latest movie releases like Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, then don't forget to support this upload by giving it a like rating and subscribing to the channel. But without further ado, let's dive into my video essay on Wes Ball's Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. So ever since Charlton Heston saw the remains of the Statue of Liberty in that original film, the Planet of the Apes series has maintained its popularity. Minus a few disappointing entries, the saga has remained captivating on the big screen, delving into intricate characters and social issues that connect to our own world. They aren't just escapism because they serve as a mirror for self-reflection. The very best films in the Apes franchise provide profound insights into both ourselves and the world we live in. Matt Reeves, Rupert Wyatt, and Andy Serkis did wonders in making this possible during the reboot films, with Rise, Dawn and War going on to receive high praise from critics and fans alike. It even sparked calls for Andy Serkis to be recognised at the Oscars for his outstanding motion capture performances. And not only were these movies successful at the box office, grossing over $1.5 billion worldwide, but they also set a high standard for future films in the franchise too. It's key to note that after the conclusion of War for the Planet of the Apes, there was uncertainty about continuing this story, but Kingdom proves that taking the risk was well worth it, and there's plenty of room for new incredible stories in this series. The now 10th installment in the franchise encapsulates everything we love about these films in one epic narrative. We step into a world set centuries after war, with Kingdom emerging as a fresh start and a somewhat continuation at the same time. And director Wes Ball, known for his work on the Maze Runner series, takes the helm and delivers a narrative that delves into themes of equality, morality and diplomacy, all while keeping audiences on the edge of their seats with gripping action moments and adventure tropes. When thinking about the direction of the story, one of the main things that impressed me about Kingdom was how it evolved both the apes and human story. In this world of apes, humans have been devastated by a virus that made apes intelligent, and Noah, a young ape from the Eagle clan, dreams of becoming an eagle master like his father. However, his dreams are shattered when his village is attacked by masked apes, led by the infamous Proximus Caesar, a power-hungry cult leader who distorts the values passed on by the original Caesar for his own gain. Left for dead, Noah embarks on a journey to save his loved ones, encountering a wise orangutan named Rucker along the way. And once they join with a feral human girl named May, they strive to uphold the original Caesar's teachings of unity amongst chaos. This is until we find out later on that the human girl May takes things into her own hands because she is on the side of humanity. For me, it's an interesting way into this new trilogy, and by putting it 300 years beyond the events of war, it allows for freedom with this new set of characters. Now, I will say that I thought the first 45 minutes of the film was a little slow, and I do think alterations could have been made to make the film be paced a little better. Everything we learned in the first act, whether it was the story or character details to do with Noah, or the groundwork when it comes to the world building, were all necessary, and they definitely were needed to aid the payoff come the end. But I do think it could have been paced a little better to really grip us in a similar way to how Rise did in the previous trilogy. There's also not as many iconic scenes or moments in the film compared to what came before, but the overall execution of the final two acts and the general arc of this story as a new narrative is what really makes this a successful endeavour. Essentially, the opening hour sets the stage well for the new trilogy, focusing purely on its storytelling. The discussion of Caesar's legacy, the distorted views among ape factions, and the parallels with various religions are truly captivating. Also, the development of rituals, traditions, and camaraderie showcases the ape's intelligence while highlighting the human struggle to survive in the shadows. While Kingdom's subtle beginning may not offer a groundbreaking perspective, it certainly builds up to deliver satisfying payoffs, especially through the intense climactic moments at Proximus Caesar's beach silo come the final hour. Director Wes Ball masterfully balances the emotional depth with the thrilling action sequences, and rather than overwhelm the audience with non-stop action, Ball carefully crafts the world and introduces new characters before diving into the major set pieces. Again, while the slow start may make the film feel a bit lengthy, the second act picks up the pace with high stakes and an adrenaline-pumping finale that delivers the excitement of a summer blockbuster. Coming into Kingdom, many feared that it would move away from the important social commentary that defined the series, but Wes Ball successfully makes us think about the widening gap between both the humans and apes. The character May challenges us to consider if we should impede a revolution, even if it comes at our own expense. What was initially perceived as a damsel in distress quickly transformed into a determined woman embarking on a mission alongside Noah to recover a crucial artifact, and the movie then skillfully weaves in the human story, providing a glimpse into potential storylines for future films, with May's loyalty coming into question. Also, William H. Macy's character in the final act at Proximus's beach silo adds an intriguing layer to the story, questioning the dangers of inaction and complacency. Kingdom emphasizes the importance of making distinct choices during a revolution, and the ultimate judgment of whether these choices are correct lies in the hands of history. The real question is, who will guide that history? Will it be individuals like Rucker who look back on and preserve the ideals of an ape who guided their people forward? Or will it be individuals like Proximus who have distorted those notions and look to evolve the apes in their own new way? While Proximus is looking at evolving through brute strength and weaponry, he's still possessed by this idea of the apes evolving and surpassing humanity by learning from them. So there's many different angles to this, and an intriguing sense of religious commentary that looks at how a species or society may reflect upon myths of the past. The approach to the story fearlessly allows the characters to come alive, showcasing their reactions, interactions, and the stunning backdrop that surrounds them. Speaking of that backdrop, after the incredible visuals and settings in the previous trilogy, a question coming into Kingdom was, could it keep the level of VFX and image work that was so high before? And I'm happy to say that the work done here is absolutely stunning. The flawless incorporation of CGI breathes life into the apes, enabling them to communicate and engage with each other in a remarkably authentic manner. The actors' motion capture performances, with their impeccable facial expressions, body language, and emotional portrayal, take the realism to another level. The meticulous attention to detail in the visual effects captivated me, immersing me further into the lives of the characters and their individual narratives. It truly showcases and helps to deliver on the exceptional writing and storytelling that is behind this film. The digital filmmaking and visuals are some of the best I've seen since Avatar: The Way of Water, and it may have even upped the bar. And it's important to note that the captivating beauty of Ball's world wouldn't have had the same impact without the exceptional characters and outstanding performances. The movie truly comes alive with the arrival of Proximus Caesar, whose powerful presence as a manipulative preacher distorts the words of a messiah into messages of hate. And it's Noah who truly steals the spotlight, with his expressive eyes portraying a range of emotions from hope all the way to horror. It's a film filled with grand ideas and thrilling sequences, yet it manages to feel personal due to its emotional depth. And while I have a soft spot for the approach of the previous films in this series, the motion capture performances here allow for a level of emotional complexity that was previously unattainable. The subtle facial expressions add depth to the characters, making them more relatable and intimately approachable. Overall, it's interesting that Kingdom thrives on its essence of humanity because science fiction truly shines when its speculative ideas mirror the reality of our world. Yes, the film is a captivating blend of rescue missions, revenge plots, and an adventure of sorts through dangerous territories. And it also pays homage to the iconic imagery and themes of the original films, while skillfully acting as both a fresh start and a continuation. But it ultimately keeps its integral commentary intact, and a lot of that is down to the excellent script and story work. Come the ending of the film, we learn that Noah still holds onto a glimmer of hope for a future where apes and humans can coexist peacefully, somewhat echoing the legend of the original Caesar. And instead of just pushing May away, Noah surprises her by giving her Caesar's necklace, a symbol of peace. This gesture signifies Noah's belief in the possibility of harmony between apes and humans, echoing Caesar's original vision. And it's clear that the responsibility now falls upon a human in May and an ape in Noah to guide both species towards that. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes might not quite reach the same level as the original film or even Dawn of the Planet of the Apes from the previous trilogy, but it still manages to captivate with its thought-provoking storyline, its integral ideas, and its visually stunning execution. This film truly showcases the franchise's growth and leaves a lasting impact. It's my third favourite film in the series, and behind Dune Part 2, it's my second favourite film of the year so far. But that was my video discussing why I believe Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes is a fantastic start to a new cinematic trilogy. Drawing from well-known historical and religious aspects, director Wes Ball and screenwriter Josh Friedman craft a story that is not only relevant, but also incredibly well thought out. The latest film in the Planet of the Apes series may not have the same emotional impact as the previous ones, but it definitely paved the way for more exciting chapters and ones that do have that added emotional punch. Through a fresh timeline and a shift towards the adventure film, the director and his screenwriter are clearly taking the franchise in a fascinating direction, yet again, it still honours its roots. So I'm giving Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes a rating of 9 out of 10. But let me know down below in the comment section what you thought of this latest Apes installment, alongside whether it gets you excited for what's to come with the new trilogy as a whole. For more videos on upcoming movie releases like Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, then subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. Also, if you enjoyed this video, remember to leave a like, rating, and follow me on social media via the links in the description. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I've been Cortex, and as always, make some noise.